Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, L'Tawakadas. Want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone to learn this truth from. We want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all of the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he exists or he is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahushai, which means he is the deliverer. Right? And we are the Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, Latins, Hispanics. We're those people that make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. The self-proclaimed white man, so-called Caucasian, European. They're not white, they're red. They are the Edomites, Mount Seir, Idumea, according to the Bible. All right, and according to Bible prophecy, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. Okay, so with this world ending, all right, we see it ending. We see everything closing. Every time I open up the internet, store closures. I believe this year, Forever 21 is closing all 350 plus locations. USPS workers laying off 20,000 people.
I just saw that at the mall. I was walking through Eastview and everything was kind of, the shelves was there. They were closing up shop.
Yeah, all of these malls, they're closing down. These malls ain't gonna be nothing to what? To hold people. Because all commerce is moving online. You know, if you want to order something, if you want to go buy something, you're not really gonna go to the store. You could get it off Amazon. Right? You pay for Amazon Prime, you might get your shit overnight. Then you don't have to deal with customer service. You don't got to deal with all these fucking people in the mall. Yeah. You know, so I'd rather shop online. Yeah. You know, so a lot of commerce, a lot of business is being done online. You know, and that's the reason I believe why UPS is laying off 20,000 workers. You know, the trucking industry, a lot of truckers are quitting because the ports are empty. You know, and with nothing coming in the ports, there's nothing for the truckers there's no freight movement. Yeah. So if you own your own, how you said, your own
operator.
Yeah, if you own your own trailer, wow, you hurt. Especially if you're making payments on that bitch. Because you want to be moving. If your truck not moving, you're not making money. You know?
It's funny you said that. That just happened to one of my cousins down in North Carolina. He went in, like, I think either right before COVID or right after. If he did it right after, either he just didn't know, or he was dumb as fuck, because it's like you can already see that shit was like fucked up. But point is he's $50,000 in debt.
Yep,
because of that shit.
So that's just like a goddamn student loan. Because you'll have people that go to loan for law, go to school for law school, or they might go to be a doctor or whatever.
And the job ain't there now.
Then they come out and he got $100,000, $50,000 in debt. And another thing with the student loan, that's the crisis right now, because now they're making you pay that shit back. They're coming to collect May 5th. On top of high grocery prices, high rent prices, the standard of living not increasing, right? Because we're under something called stagflation, which they're telling you that there's a lot of jobs out there, but a lot of people are complaining because they're doing thousands of applications a week, but they're just not being hired, you know?
But they call it ghost hiring or something, to where they'll put these postings up for these jobs and you'll apply for it, but then the job will be gone, or they're not calling you in for the interview. So it's making it look like, and that's what Esau's he good at. He good at illusions. I mean, if we go even deeper into like black magic and all that shit, the illusions, he's a master of deception.
But that's what America is. It's one big illusion. Because you would think you would come here and you would live a better life. Man, you come here, you experience racism. Think about the Northern Kingdom. You know, they thought they were going to come here and experience a better life. Yeah. You know, they coming up here, they getting deported and shit. Right. I heard this one story about this 4-year-old girl. She was having treatment, chemo, and they deported her, man. Wow. She might not have received treatment in her country. Right. You know?
But really that's going down to Egypt for help, though. Because, the herbs and the model, and then even that, the scripture says, if it's not of the Lord, you ain't going to be healed anyway,
Yep. But that's fucked up. You would think, okay,
But yeah.
she's in a hospital in America
Yeah.
getting treatment,
Right.
and she's a 4-year-old girl.
Right. Where's
So
the mercy?
that shows the hatred of Esau.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
Check the audio.
He's gonna start showing his horn soon. It's gonna really show how he hates Jacob, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that goes into that video you sent to the chat too, Ira. The one with the chick talking about the terror, talking about how when the what was that the doc, she said it's not just something that happened in what's the big one that happened at recently? Was it in California?
I believe there's one over there and on the East Coast.
But she said it's not just in them spots, it's where she at. Said she was in like
Down south, like
somewhere, yeah, down south.
Right.
But she was pointing out it's happening in all the major
points, right?
points.
So I believe last year, right, there was I think it was the port was going on strike. They wanted
that part.
They wanted an increase in the pay.
Yeah.
You know, but now they ain't even getting no freighting. They don't got no work. So they
Right.
about to be out of a job,
Yeah.
you know, or laid off. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1.
Book of Sirach.
Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 12 and 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor when the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So, you know, and really that's talking about, you know, seek the Lord while you're young. You know, when the Most High called Jeremiah, he was a very young man. You know, he said, I believe he told the Lord, you know, I'm a child. And the Lord said, say not I'm a child. You know, because a lot of people, a lot of what our people do, they wait till they get all old, up in age, and on their deathbed, you just say, I repent to Jesus prayer and you're good. You know, so it's just twofold. You know,
It's after they've lived their best life, done went out and did all type of abominable sins, and now their conscience is coming back to haunt them. Now they afraid of where they gonna go, as you know, the Christian church puts heaven and hell. Now they trying to get right with the Lord.
yeah, you can't wait. You have to be seeking the Lord now because we could clearly see that the evil days are coming. You want to get good over there? Get over here, bro. Come on, bro.
That little cat right there.
It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Because you know that's twofold. Because during the famine, there's not going to be any pleasure. Why? Because you're not eating. Eating is a form of pleasure. So you're not even going to be sleeping like that, man. Because of the terrorists outside, you know, hearing screams, explosions and shit, you know, gunshots. People are not going to be sleeping too well. They're not going to be eating, you know. Verse 2. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. You know, and the Most High is going to turn Babylon into a 5,000 square mile radius of desert.
Right.
The whole land and the neighboring cities. So you got to think that's going to affect Mexico, Canada, some of the islands, you know. Because when the Most High, you good? You need to get over something?
Nah, we good until we got wet back when I was rolling that cut.
Because when Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, it didn't just destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, man. It destroyed the neighboring cities, you know. So when this place gets destroyed, the neighboring cities going to be affected too. You got to think about that, the radiation, smog and shit, you know. Verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. So the keepers of the house is going into, you know, your stewards, if you will. You know, people who are up on economics, who watch stock market trends.
Right.
You know, they may have ties with Wall Street, things of that nature.
Who's that guy? InfoWars? What's his name?
Mr. Jones,
Yeah, people like that.
Alex Jones,
Preppers. Those doomsday preppers.
Peter Schiff, Janet Yellen. You know, people who understand how money actually works.
Right.
Like right now, the price of gold is going up. You know. Right now, gold is up $3,200. You know, that's the highest it's ever been. You know, but that's spiritual too, because the Lord said, "I will make a man more precious than fine gold." So you gotta think that the value, brothers are gonna be, we're becoming more valuable, man. And people, they may not see it now. Right now, they just see us as niggas. You know, we don't have no life. We're just out here wasting our lives. Once you get a job. But when shit hits the fan, that's when they're gonna know, okay, oh, these are the men of the Lord. These men are valuable. Because we can learn something from them. We can learn the name of the Lord. We see them being protected. You know, that's when they're gonna see how precious we are, man. You know? It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, you know, and Janet Yellen, she said, let me bring that up, you know. She said that how what Trump did, you know, with the whole tariffs, that was a self-inflicted wound to crash the economy, which it makes sense because they need the economy to crash in order to bring about their mark of the beast system, you know. This is from Yahoo News. It says, Yellen slams Trump tariff agenda as worst self-inflicted policy wound. Former Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen weighed in on Trump's administration's trade war Friday evening, blasting President Trump's latest rollout of import taxes on nearly all trading partners. This is the worst self-inflicted policy wound I've ever seen in my career on our economy. So they're telling you, man. You know, so that's one of those keepers of the house, because she understands what's going on.
Insider,
you know.
Yeah.
If you look at what a tariff is, it's a tax that is levied by a government on imported goods, designed to influence trade, protect domestic industries, or generate revenue. But that's actually more like a tax on the citizens of America, because that's not going to affect the rich. You heard what Trump said. He said, we making billions per day with these tariffs, man.
Right.
You know, and then that's just hitting the pockets of you everyday American people.
Right.
You know? Ecclesiastes 12:3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves. And the Most High is going to bring down Esau's military load too, man. No, and I forgot, at work, on the robotics floor that I worked with, I found the Bible, and it was open to Jeremiah 51. And then it said, I'm against thee, O thou, I gotta get it, man. O thou, destroying mountain.
Wow.
But that's the government of the elites. They're the ones that are destroying the earth, constantly putting up chemtrails, curses, you know. From April 20th to May Day is something called Beltane. You let me get that.
Yo, too, you know what? The scriptures say that the enemy should come out of like a flood. But you know, in Florida, they get the ICE tactical force. They call themselves, they call it Operation Tidal Wave.
Wow. Coming like a flood. That's crazy.
That's Esau's troops. You know, the SWAT team does that. How they surround niggas in the hood, kick the door in, bam it down. That's a flood, man.
Yeah.
You know? The hell?
Operation Tidal Wave. That's crazy.
So if you look up what Beltane is, it's pretty much going into like a pagan feast. I believe they started in Scotland or Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, it says it will be a fire festival that marks the beginning of summer and the peak of spring. But it started on 420, which is so-called, Hitler's birthday, up until May Day, a high satanic sacrifice time.
And it's that self-proclaimed marijuana day too. 420.
Was that does what? Invokes demons.
Yeah.
Because you had Aleister Crowley, a high-level Satanist. He would say that he would smoke weed, to, get the spirit of Satan on him. Pretty much, man. So they use drugs, all type of
psychedelics to try to,
especially acid.
Yeah.
You see that in that movie MK Ultras on Amazon Prime. A lot of these different shows, they use these drugs to
tap into the spirit world. I think that a lot of like rock musicians, I forgot who specifically said it, but they said that they wouldn't have been able to make those hits that they made if they wasn't on drugs. It was like that because Esau, he lacked creativity. Like Jake is a form of all things, all genre of music. Jake pretty much made it. Esau just, took a hold and stole it. Culture vulture. Exactly.
I'm glad you brought out music because the daughter of music is brought low, man. All this music got these women out here. The apostles called them hyenas.
See that video when he was at that store twerking?
Lulu Mark?
Oh yeah, that shit.
That shit is a fucking embarrassment, man. I understand now. Our women, they're a fucking embarrassment. They're not modest. They're not humble. They're not quiet. They're loud, disrespectful whores. And the Most High don't judge them. There's this one article came out how this woman, she was in traffic at the stoplight, got on the hood to twerk. Her dumbass fell off and the fire truck hit her. So how didn't you hear the fire truck coming? The fire truck, that's a loud,
Yeah.
That shit loud as hell. So her ass was probably high and drunk, and her ass got hit by a fire truck. Now she's in the spirit world.
See there?
Yeah. There's more judgment like that's gonna come.
Death by being alone.
Right.
That's a perfect way
it came out. I'm sorry.
That's a perfect way to go out.
Came out that Sexy Reds with the C to the I to the A.
Right.
Which they all are. Cardi B. And a lot of these musicians, they're broke. Yeah. They don't have money. They look like they have money.
You gotta look the part to play the part. Basically.
Ecclesiastes 12:3. And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow them. That's why it says in Jeremiah that the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Most High gonna take the spirit of courage off them, put the spirit of fear on them, man.
Right.
And the grinders cease because there are few. There's no jobs out here. Get some information on that.
I got a precept.
Yeah, go ahead.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her.
And start up at start at 1. Read all of that.
All right. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me. Rise up against me. The destroying wind.
That destroying wind is talking about the nuclear destruction, right? Because when the nukes hit, it's going to create a chain of different reactions. So a mushroom cloud, a massive blast.
Right.
When that blast comes through, that's going to knock motherfuckers' flesh off their bones, man.
Right.
It shows you that in the Judgment Day, Terminator 2 Judgment Day,
Yeah, I think that goes into the fallout. That shockwave, all of that.
Verse 2, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her.
So all of this is like, because when you fan the fire, it expands, it grows.
You feed it oxygen.
You're feeding it. So if you're fanning a fire, you're feeding it.
Right.
So with all these tariffs, they're just fanning the fire of Babylon's destruction, man. Because people are already to the point where they're disgusted with Trump.
Yeah.
A lot of people that voted for him, they having buyer's remorse. They wishing, wish I never voted for this nigga. You know, there's talks of impeachment.
Yeah.
You know, and remember on The Simpsons, they showed him in the
Casket.
casket. So who knows? They could put this man in a bunker somewhere and tell you, you know, he got hit up.
with us.
And will send unto Babylon furnish that shall fan her, shall empty her land, for in
Oh,
the
let's
day.
wait for them. My bad. Let's wait for them.
She was playing with the slang. Met her work at 12, that whole section be so
The niggas older than me and shit. Crazy. That's some young niggas. That's some YN music there. I don't even know who them niggas is. That's how I know, you know what I'm saying?
That's how America keeps you.
God,
Cause I'm
damn.
noticing at the job, that shit is high school.
Right.
That's all the fuck it is. Like your whole life in high school, now you just going to high school, but you're getting paid. That's all going to work is, man.
That's
Every
what
job
Corey-
I've been to. That's why I like being on the road by myself.
Right.
You're going nothing but a bunch of big ass kids.
That's what Corey told me. That's what she told me. So I asked her how it was. She's like, man, it's like high school. So I asked her, did she know somebody? And she's like, man, it's so big in there. It's like high school. Like, but you know how big a high school is. You're not gonna know everybody, but other than that, it's just like the same thing. Childish behavior, rumor mill, the water cooler. You know, it's like, God damn, you're right though. You want to be by yourself.
It's a spirit of fucking keeping you as a kid.
Right.
So
right.
really in America, it never allows you to become a man, especially if you're an Israelite man.
Baby boy.
They how you said, they gaslight you, toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Oh, you're mean. You know.
Right. You don't like me.
Oh, and if you stay to yourself, people kind of like, you know,
You on the weirdo list
they
now.
kind of, you know,
Yeah.
got their eye on you.
Oh, we hear it.
You know.
Yeah.
In the day of trouble,
Call out again. My bad.
the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 2. And will send unto Babylon furnish that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about.
So that's going into the various other enemies of Babylon. Which what Trump is doing is isolating America so that there's many enemies. He's beefing with his neighbors. He's beefing with Canada. They right there.
right.
We were right by Canada, literally.
Yeah.
Across what's that? The Finger Lakes? I forget what it's
Lake
called.
Ontario.
Lake Ontario. That's fucking Canada.
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls, right over there. You got the Canadian side and the American side. You beefing with the neighbors and shit.
And I think for the most part, Canada was an ally. I don't know how they feel about it now, but you know, Mexico was kind of, sort of, but you know, it's just that border issue, the immigrants.
One of those, it was a video game my ex got me when I was coming into the truth.
Yeah.
And it was real spiritual. It was called Fallout 3.
Right.
But in the game, it shows you how Babylon got nuked. It shows you that the chariots, like in the game, you could get beamed up on a chariot.
Oh, wow.
It shows you the newly created creature. There's a big ass monster that will run around and eat you.
That's crazy.
It got description in Revelation 21:7. It got all type of spiritual stuff in that game.
What's the name of that game?
Fallout 3.
Fallout, okay.
And also, there's a show on it on Prime.
Actually, yeah,
That's that
show
show.
on Amazon.
The show's made
Based
based
on-
off that video game.
Yeah.
It shows you the mushroom claw from the nukes. And in that show, it shows you how Moab invaded.
Yeah.
So there was Chinese troops. It showed you that they annexed Canada.
Yeah.
And they went after Mexico.
Right.
That's what's happening now.
Well, it's
You know?
a lot of spiritual games turned into movies like The Last of Us.
Yep.
They got the TV show. I've been watching that. That shit going to like the different viruses. It's going to be let loose. People developing communes, you know, communities, and people coming to invade.
Yeah, like
take your goods and
like
shit.
different militias, if you will.
Different
right?
militias. Yep. That's
Like-
going to be set up around the country.
And in that day, the show's about zombies, but shit, you gotta watch the people more than the fucking zombies.
Right. Right.
The
right.
people are worse threat than they're worse than the damn zombies. You like shit.
Right.
That's the part of the movie that was showing you. It wasn't the zombies that was the threat, it was the people.
It's actually people. I remember when I first started to watch what was that show on AMC?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. They were showcasing Atlanta. I think it started in Atlanta, and they were like, yeah, said Atlanta's gone. Atlanta's no more. The zombies have taken over, and you already know that that's a predominantly Jake City.
Yep.
They call it Chocolate City. DC too, I think.
Yep.
But so when they said that, in my mind, it already went to that. They were saying the niggas have taken over Atlanta. Atlanta's gone. There's no more. Don't come here.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. But that's what Esau do. He throws some subliminal jabs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? At Jake.
Continue. Yeah. Verse 3, against him that bendeth, let the archers bend his bow.
Now it's Esau. He's the one that bended because he was given the blessing of the sword to live by the sword. So that's him. There's a quote by a Roman, I believe it's called Cato the Elder. What he said was, war is the business of the Romans. Mm-hmm. You know, and we know all wars are what? They're bankers' wars. Mm-hmm. Who benefits the most off of war? Bankers.
Yeah.
Because in the destruction, they're gonna buy up all the land and they're gonna own every fucking thing.
Right.
They're gonna install a puppet leader. We see the same playbook, man. Like if you have a football team and they keep winning the championship each year, they're not gonna change the playbook because it's working.
Right.
But that's what Esau been doing, you know?
Yeah, that guy, the Reaper. He's a Jake sniper for I think he was in the Army Rangers. And he just said that he got interviewed. It's some interviewer from Vlad, but it's not Vlad. It's one of his, you know what I'm saying? One of his interviewers was interviewing him. And the interviewer started out saying, America has always been a violent country. Like, they've always, like, been in all these different kind of wars. And the sniper dude was like, yeah, he said, once America found out that you can make money off of it, he said, why would they stop the wars? Because they're going to make money off the weapons, off the natural resources when they so-called come in and lay down democracy.
Yep.
In the name of we're here to save the people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I seen the one I sent in the chat about, what's that African general over there?
Gaddafi?
Yeah, well, no, that was Gaddafi, but it's the black dude,
I know he's
Hamite, over in there, and they trying to target him like Gaddafi.
Yeah.
So what they do, they assassinate your character first. So they make an agenda behind why we should go in here and take this guy down, because what they saying with him, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that's popping to wear the red beret. Yeah, he wears the red beret over there, but you know, he's showing dominance. He's showing force.
He's being a man.
He's being a man. So now they're trying to take him down because he wants to kind of do like Gaddafi did and use their natural resources for their people, for his people. You know what I'm saying? And you know how the YouTuber was saying was like, that's why they wanted to take Gaddafi down, because he wanted to take their natural resources and back the money with gold. So the power, of course, America wasn't going to go for that. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's a threat to their dollar.
Exactly.
The dollar it's the world reserve currency.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a saying: if America gets the cold, the world gonna start sneezing, because the
side effects.
The dollar affects everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So.
And verse 3, and against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow.
Let me bring this out. This is the Roman Empire of the Edomite by William Beester. Because that shows you right there how the Romans, that goes back to Edomites. Even the rabbis, there's footage of the 48ers. They're saying that the West America is Rome, and the whites that are in America are Edomites.
Right.
So they're finger pointing, you know.
Yeah.
But then the whites here, they're saying, no, you're Esau.
Right.
You know.
But
Just
somewhere.
It's just like two kids that, you know what I'm saying, did something wrong in the house, broke something.
Right.
Parents come in like, who did it? They point.
Exactly.
They both pointing at each other and shit. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But in this case, it's getting more biblical though, because one is claiming to be the people, and then one is calling the other one the Edomite. So that's deep in itself. You know what I'm saying? So basically, they're tribe bashing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the
you're
tribe
right.
banging.
The 48ers, they're claiming our identity. They
Right.
got our land. And then you got the whites over here. They don't know what the fuck is going on. They're just nigger. That's
Right.
all they know. You know,
Right.
they're hardcore American pride.
Yeah.
But little do you know, the world is identifying you as Esau.
See there?
You know, and we see, oh, that's a fucking Edomite.
Right.
Because now that covering cash is being taken off.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is page 27. It says, which they're quoting this from Genesis 27, I believe. It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live. The Romans were perhaps the very people of whom it might most justly be predicated that they got their living by the sword. War, said the elder Cato, is the business of the Roman people. So what are we doing? What are we in right now? A trade war, which that's affecting China too. A lot of factories they're catching hell too, but it's going to affect here much more worse.
Because America is a import source. Well, you know, their resources is import based.
They're consumer nation.
They're a consumer nation. So China can be fine over there.
Yeah.
They can be self-sufficient. That's what the chick was saying too. She was like, the last time I checked for something that came from America, it's not on there. She said all our shit come from the Asian countries, Thailand, Vietnam. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's Moab and Ammon land. You know what I mean? So we fought. Ain't nothing over here, nigga. You know?
Keep going. You gotta go.
Verse 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine, and spared ye not her young men.
Right. So pretty much, you know, if you're not the elect, when this happens, you're gonna be destroyed here, man. You know, one word, whether it be by the famine, whether it be by the militias, group of cannibals, being tortured, summary execution, public execution.
Right.
Because Nero, he wants to bring that back too. You know, the guillotines.
You already military, militarized police. You know what I'm saying? So now next time they have a protest or any type of outburst, they got the, you know, the right
green
to
light.
shoot, yep, the green light to shoot them down. Because remember a few months back, remember they had passed a legislation bill to they could open fire on protesters.
Right,
Live
right.
ammo. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And they have full quantified immunity.
Yep.
So you can't sue them.
Yep. And they're not going to be penalized if they put you to death.
Right.
Because you know, they could say anything.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this yesterday. They was, one of the brothers was just revealing it that Trump is. He arresting even the judges for speaking against whatever he doing with the immigrants.
Yep.
Yeah.
He putting them in jail too.
So that's going into that totalitarian type of tyrant rulership.
It's like Cool Wars.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying he's trying to be the guy, like the dictator. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, wow. So yeah, we here.
Right.
We here. Yeah. It's gonna get crazy. Too much. You know what I'm saying?
There's a show on Netflix called Black Summer. And what it shows you is the shit hitting the fan. Troops coming in like a flood, people running around, people trying to get to the stadium. You know, that's like people trying to, imagine everybody trying to get to that stadium down there.
Right.
Or the Red Wing Stadium. You know, because they're telling you there's food, water, transportation, you know. So in that show, everybody was scrambling to the stadium. And in the midst of that, they got a pestilence out. Just shit hitting the fan. That's what's coming, man. You know?
And in the midst of that, you know, it's gonna be all kind of like trampolines, people shooting each other. You know what I mean? Because these motherfuckers can barely let a motherfucker get in front of them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Without, you know, that me first attitude. Motherfucker swerving in behind you just to get the fucking front. You know what I mean?
For the past few years, people have been dying over road rage.
Crazy. You know? Crazy. Yeah, it had to been something with that That jump shot, man.
Hippie dip.
Yeah, man.
And the frequencies going out, making people bugged out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A combination of them blood wounds and all that going on.
Right.
You know, the moon,
Gravitational pull.
plus with the water, so you know we got fluids in this.
Yeah.
So you know all that combination, man. Yeah. Bugged out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Continue. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Verse 4. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans.
Check this. I says, while precise yearly figures vary, road rage incidents cause about 30 deaths and 1,800 injuries per year in the U.S.
Damn.
So that's that demonic frequency. These people, you know, at least are putting out spells. They put out all type of curses and spells for road rage, traffic accidents.
Right.
You know, people to get kidnapped, all type of sick shit they do, man.
Right.
That's why you gotta stay prayed up. You know?
Yep.
Against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy her utterly, all her hosts. Verse 4. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of Chaldean, and that they are thrust through in the streets. Thrust through in her streets for Israel.
Y'all saw that?
Yep.
She was an albino.
Yeah.
She looked just like her.
She got leprosy.
Remember I said that last time?
Yep. That's the spirit.
You know what Icky is going to look like.
She could blend in with him.
That's crazy.
That's what the Lord did Mary.
Right.
Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldean, and that are thrust through in her streets. Verse 5. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his Yahweh.
Right. So if you just if you just walk around any major city, like we just saw, a group of they look like they're damn near in their 40s.
Yeah.
You know, Jake don't
50s.
look too good because they smoke all fucking day, they drink all the time, so they're not aging real good.
Well,
And there's a
yeah.
saying too, black don't crack, but I see it at work.
Right.
You know, these niggas they like 29, maybe 32 at the most, but they look way older. That's from all them years of smoking Black and Miles, weed, and cigarettes and drinking.
Yeah.
That's just crazy because I got a testimony yesterday. I seen not the day before yesterday. I seen my ex Naomi when I was cookie sister when I was leaving work. So she was like, lots of stuff I told you on the phone. And she said, she's like, hey Chris, you look light skinned. You know what I'm saying? She's like, you look like light skinned. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that goes into the scripture like, wisdom call your face to cause your face to shine. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But that just let me know that our people, man, they got demons on the spirit. That's why they look like dark and.
But that's the alcohol too. The sclerosis of the liver.
Yeah, the demons. Those demons that they in the spirit.
Right.
And they ain't got this in them. They ain't looking bright. You know what I'm saying?
What Drake said, I'm light skinned, but I'm also a dark nigga.
Yup, this be Jakes that be balding and shit. You like, damn, bro, you only like 32 too.
Right.
Jake don't take care of himself. Then they walk. You at work, you gotta have your pants up because you constantly move. You gotta pick shit up. You gotta be girded.
Yeah.
It's Jake's up in there sagging. You can't even fight like that, man. You square with somebody, your pants fall.
Well, that's why you always see them pulling their pants up. When they get ready to square up, they'll pull their pants up. And then the nigga asks you, like, what you pulling your pants up for?
Right.
Because you know it's about to go down.
Right.
You know?
You boxers don't do that.
Right.
A boxer don't have to pull his pants up. So if you fighting somebody that actually knows what they're doing, they gonna whip your ass.
They gonna stall on you first. Ask questions next.
No, but if you just walk around and look at our people, it look like that. Most side done with them. They done. Hey, dog, the bitches twerking in Lululemon, man.
Yeah.
That's a fucking embarrassment.
Where?
Lululemon. I didn't get it.
Oh, Lululemon. Okay, that store. Yeah. That's crazy.
I thought it was a rap video when I first see it. I was like, it's a rap video? Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? This is like a podcast show. So some type of blog shit going. I didn't know that was actually like, oh, it's an actual store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, that goes to show you our people are waxing worse and worse because that twerking shit is a new thing on the earth. That wasn't during my generation.
I mean, they was doing it.
They wasn't doing it like this.
Like
it wasn't even called twerking back then. A bitch might do what's that shit Trina and them used to do? It wasn't twerking though.
No, it was called butt shaking, rump shaking or some shit.
Yeah, rump shaking, but it wasn't like this shit here.
It says a group of women go viral for taking over Lululemon, twerking all over the store. And you wonder why these nations, they don't want you niggas in the store.
Right.
Cause I seen it when I was working at Surface Express. I went to deliver to a store, right? There was a bunch of nigga women running out, and they were being chased after. They were stealing.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the how the woman was looking. She was like, man, I fucking hate you niggas.
Right.
But it was our people. It's a pack of nigger women running out stealing.
Boosting.
You know,
they got a name for everything. They call them boosters.
Boosters, man.
In the hood.
That happens every day.
Yeah.
You know, but you got the nerve to call a man a scrub.
Right.
But all you bitches do is steal and sell your box.
Exactly.
You know, so you can see why these other nations got a hatred for our people. But it's really Esau's fault, because you're the creator of a nigger. You made niggas.
Yeah.
The Willie Lynch letter. You know.
Well, ultimately, go back to the Lord. The Lord put the curses on us for being disobedient. So, I mean, but that, of course, you're gonna blame the person that's being you, like a whooping. Remember that story, the whooping boy? So when this motherfucker got in trouble, he didn't get whooped. He had a whooping boy. That was Jake all day. You know what I'm saying? Esau, they showed you having 12 years a slave. Remember when he was building the house, and Esau was trying to tell him it's wrong. Yeah. He's like, look, I'm reading. It says this. And he's like, you get smart. You think you smarter than me, boy? You think you smarter than a white man?
Yeah, he was mad because Jacob had intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Jacob, they're skilled at certain. Some of our people are good builders.
Craftsmen.
Some of them are good writers.
Yeah.
You know, we all have our different talents.
Right.
And Esau, he hates that shit.
He hates it. Especially if he don't know how to do shit.
Especially when you excel at it.
Right.
That's why he's always switching up the game.
Yeah.
You know, whenever Jake started winning, he'd switch up the rules and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For Israel have not been forsaken.
But we ain't been forsaken. The proof of that is that we're out here. You know, but yeah, if you just look around, our people are changing their kind, i.e. changing their plumbing. Men want to be women. The one woman want to be men. You know, it's a woman. You can see she got a fat ass. She walk around. You would think it's a nigga. The spirit she carries.
Right.
You like that? That's not no woman. That's a nigga.
And on top of that, them stank ass BBLs, man. Crazy.
Hey, shalom, y'all. But read it again. This is Isaiah 1 and verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. So if there wasn't for the elect, we'll all be destroyed here, man. Because when you think about it, the Lord said he's going
Right. Well, that goes into that account. Who's that? Abraham and Lot. He's asking if you can find 50 men. I think it started out that was righteous. He wouldn't destroy it. And then he couldn't find 50. And then he said, hey, if you can find 40 or so on and so on. And it just boiled down to Lot. You know?
So we're the modern day Lots. Noah, because we're spiritually building the ark.
Right.
You know, if we're the elect, Lord will. But that really goes down to the remnant. You know, because outside of that remnant is nothing but whores,
excess,
adulterers, effeminate men,
right.
The niggas with nose rings.
Crazy. All kind of piercings.
Trying to be Tupac.
Nah, they got them bullshit, them bull rings, and them fucking, why you got your fucking lips and your tongue pierced, dude?
As a man.
That's crazy. I saw one of my little my young bulls back in the day when I was in the world, the nigga came around us with this. I'm looking at this nigga suspect. What the fuck? I'm like, damn, man. It's like weird, but they another generation. That was like one or two generations behind me. So it's like they done. Through. I already knew he was done.
And all the tattoos and shit.
And the face,
you know? So it's
sick.
Hey, the Wadi Bashim El Shah for the remnant, man. Because if it wasn't, we see it every day. These niggas, and they always got some fucking blonde hair too.
Right.
You know, dreads. You know, whoever they put out in the music industry, whatever they do,
emulate.
That's what these niggas do.
They call them archetypes or something like that.
Yeah, now the archetype is who? It's a Lil Durk, which now he's what? He's pretty much got the elbow.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go slide for Von. Niggas are through, man. You know, all these people are getting ready to lose.
That's going back to Clone Tyrone. That's what that was about. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta fall into one of them. Either you fall into being a pimp, a thug. You know, you got EY, killing your brother. You a mo. You know, you a homo jailbird.
Yeah.
You know, it's sick out here.
El Sickos. Pick one.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 5. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his Yahweh.
So that's a miracle right there, man. So we ain't been forsaken. The proof of that is we got the spirit of life.
Most, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel.
Right, so even though we went off, we sinned against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, Mosai still ain't
away with us.
Because if you look at what our people were doing in the land, we had to get put out. Because they were, you know, killing one another. You know, they were stealing.
Yeah.
You know, sacrificing unto idols. You know.
Like they're doing right now. Place full of sin, man. You know. Because you know, wherever Israel, Israel, you know, is a people for is a place, or wherever we at, that's where, you know. So that's a double two-fold prophecy.
Right. Yeah, that's where the curse is gonna be like the brother on the ship. When he was on the ship, and it was like, why you ain't tell us you was a Hebrew?
Yeah.
Jonah.
Yeah, so the curses follow. The curses follow Jake.
No matter where you go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why you got people, Jake, today be like, well, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna move far. I'm gonna move over here. Like, no matter where you go, you gonna have the same problem.
Right, exactly.
Move out of the United States, not Africa. Now they want to move back because they found out that they're not wanted over there either.
Big Shirley.
Yep.
Hers was on live complaining about the snacks. There's no snacks over here.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Right, that's why your ass so big. And they skinny over there. Yeah.
Lord said, I'm going to give you a spirit of you going to lose weight.
The Most High gonna have all these people lose because the famine's coming, man.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to eat how you used to eat. You know?
Yeah, I should speak on that testimony that I was
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because I had a dream that this morning that, you know, things about to hit the fan because I went to the store, like I said, to buy some supplies for the house. Yeah. And the lady was telling me, you about to buy double up because it's about to get, you know, things is buying out. Right. You know, we ain't getting no more shipments in, you know, because I was looking at the store shelves, like emptying out. Right. People just, you know, all around and stuff, you know, trying to, you know, get food, but the Lord take care of me. I still have stuff, you know, to get food at the house and stuff like that. So, you know, in the dream, everything was all around, you know, it's like I was drinking, like, they was all dealing with was about to pop off.
Right. Jacob's trouble.
Jacob's trouble's coming, you know what I'm saying? You know?
So that goes with what the Lord told Joel that we was gonna get. I'm gonna bring it up. This is Joel 2 and verse 28. Joel 2 and 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. You know,
And one thing I know about the dream is mad police out too.
police state.
Yep, mad police out.
Which that makes sense because if you think, think about when these fucking high ass prices hit. You think if we was just talking about how the nigga woman steal clothes and shit,
Yeah.
the stupid shit that you can't use, and when shit hit the fan, you stealing weaves, you stealing Jordans for your baby.
Yep.
You ain't gonna be able to do shit with that when there's no food out here. Your main concern is gonna be survival. Okay, so when the prices hit, you think people gonna be paying for that shit? No, they gonna get man, because they need to eat. They're gonna have to police the Walmarts, the Sam's Club, because people gonna run in there and they're gonna take what they need.
The police are like guarding the stores and patrolling like mad like on some old martial law type. That's one thing I noticed walking that green. I seen police and it was all spread it out, camping out in the streets.
So you're gonna have some people, they might just wait in the parking lot. We're gonna wait. We're gonna see niggas come out with the groceries.
Right.
We're gonna follow their ass home.
We're gonna seize this nigga. We're gonna start saying old school words like we're gonna seize this nigga. Medieval words.
Right.
Yeah.
But you see, that happened in the movie Demolition Man. Remember, they was coming from up underground,
Yeah.
and they was raiding the food trucks and shit. And when Stallone, wherever his character name was, when Sylvester Stallone figured out what was happening, he was like, hold up. These people ain't running up in, like, the bank or whatever they had or stealing, like, gold. And it was like, these people are hungry. You know what I'm saying? They stealing food. Eating rat burgers and shit down in the sewer.
That shows you the level of desperation, man.
Why?
Because our people, they not knowing it, but you eating Chinese food, you don't really know what you're eating.
Right.
So you very well could already be eating rat, cat, dog. So in that day, shit, motherfuckers gonna cook their pet right up.
Right.
That little pet cat you got, forget about it.
Right.
Better not let them go outside. Your neighbors might get them.
I saw an Asian walking the dog the other day. It was an oxymoron. I'm like, I already know what that little motherfucking fate is.
I thought I was over that thing like that. Because I be doing that too. I see an Asian walking the dog. I'm like, shit, like shit. Fucking around, slip up.
You know what I'm saying?
You gonna be in that flaming rock.
Word. They saving your little fatting you up for the kill. Don't even know.
They eat anything.
Right.
You see them online cooking up food and shit. Potatoes, frogs.
With that little nasty bitch, she was going viral. She was eating all kind of shit, eating bull balls. And you ain't seen her?
Yeah, I think so, man.
Yeah. She get a lot of views. Like, I think people request her to eat whatever, this and that, and she'll go online and she'll.
Did she die or something? Got sick or something?
I think that may be another one, or maybe her. I don't know, but
I think she got sick or died.
I think I heard something about somebody. Yeah, could have been her. Nasty ass.
This is Joel 2:28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. So you might see, Edom might talk about a dream they had. The Most High say he's going to pour out his spirit on all flesh. You can make all these people have dreams, which they are. You have heathens that having dreams of World War III.
Right.
Just sit in the fan over here in Babylon. And then you have our people have shit. Some of the our family members will be having dreams. Like my mom should call me. I had a dream about this.
Right.
This happened. This mean. People gonna start doing that to you.
Right.
And
then also the Lord could plague them motherfuckers with night terrors.
Yep.
With them dreams.
Yep.
It
It says, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Now a woman ain't supposed to be out here to teach it, so that's not what it's talking about. Right. Well, the Most High is gonna put a spirit on a woman to have these dreams, and then she might tells
people
around man the Lord about it, and that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because prophesying is just saying something before it happens.
Right.
It says, Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. So we're seeing the visions, man. You know, the second coming. But the one brother's dream. He had a dream about the crowning ceremony, the death angel coming through the different camps. You know?
So that angel comes as a king. That's going into the song. You were in truth. That's what I'm saying. Because you know what I mean? Because you know the Lord controls them. They're gonna put them through the spirits on you that go and destroy you. So that's probably what he said. You know, angels killing these camps. That's going into the new truth.
That makes sense, man, because you have Jakes wearing their fringes in public. I see that too. You know, that one guy, he had the plantation. He having his fringes on, with the scriptures in the break room with the scriptures open.
Right.
You know, he was just making yourself a target, man.
Well, the scripture I do going talking about being over righteous as well.
Yep.
It says we are rehearsing the righteous acts because, like we was talking amongst ourselves, how camps like Shikari them emphasize fringes, but y'all got them on T-shirts. So if y'all so scriptural to the T, why y'all not wearing the garments down to the feet? If you want to be so technical, you know what I'm saying?
I just ran back to what you just said. 'Cause I think now, you know, now that I think about hindsight, that's, you know, Nate kind of started that trend of wearing fringes on his T-shirts. I think he did that to set up Israel to be targeting the last few days of coming. That's why
Right.
he's preaching that in Jacob's Trouble and then on MOTB, because he really setting up Jacob to get spotted out and get, you know, weaned out when that time comes.
He's a Judas though, man. It's guys like Nate, just like you said, Sakari. They're doing things to get the ministry blamed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because why else would you have a gun on your hip, but you're at camp though?
Machetes.
When you're supposed to be trusting in the Lord.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy because, like I said, when I was doing that, I did security. What you need security for? If everybody's coming, we keeping the laws,
Right.
And you're supposed to be protected. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What you need security for? If we doing things right, you know what I'm saying?
Because what cats should realize, if you in this truth, everything is the Lord's will. So if something's going to happen to you, it was going to happen to you. It ain't nothing you can do to stop it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, our weapons of warfare are not. You know what I mean?
Now with them friends, come in with gun, ain't going to sit there block me. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be spread out like
Well, you seen what they was doing back in the 60s, where they'll bomb the whole church. If they want to get rid of you, Esau is sending some feds, some CIA, you know what I'm saying, some agents in there, and they'll rig the shit up with explosives, motherfucker, to get rid of you.
Then now the technology's increased, so he can just send a drone.
Right.
You would never see it coming.
Yeah.
You know, niggas at camp with fitteds on, hats, guns. Just send a drone on them niggas, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is 2 Corinthians 6:3, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. But these guys, they constantly offend. They offend about talking shit about the apostles and elders, the men we learned from, brothers. You know, like the one he's getting on camera crying, but he's really not sorrowful. He really not repentant. He like doing that sick shit, man. You know, so that's how you get the ministry blamed. So now you got people they like, oh, they weirdos. The shit that he's doing.
That all was for clickbait.
You know?
That was for views.
Yep. I'll read it again.
Or they call it what they call it, a cleanup. Cleanup. He was cleaning up behind himself. So he thought.
This is 2 Corinthians 6 and verse 3. Giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. But the thing these guys do is to get the ministry blamed. You know? Really, you're giving Esau ammo. You know? We ain't, you know, we're just out here to teach the weapons of our warfare. They're not carnal. All we do is pray, fast, teach.
Right.
And that's going to bring down the walls of Jericho, so to speak. You know?
But that was their lie. The Lord ultimately set them up to do that, to take the bag, and they just following orders.
Yeah, Hebrews and Hellcats. So that could have been a humiliation. Nigga popping about a woman.
Right.
They got
That even happened. That even didn't happen. He probably just doing that just
because he like it.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just to put it out there, some type of
I don't think that happened.
yeah. I'm saying though, you know, it's just weird how that just came out.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
was with Adam 22 too.
Yeah.
That dude, he's a damn.
He into that.
He like people.
Caucasoid
He
shit.
likes men. He likes to watch men popping his wife. That's the sick. That's the sick Esau shit.
It's a birds of a feather flock together.
You know, I'm just saying he's going both ways. It couldn't even happen. He probably just doing that just to get a million, to get that bag, and get some notoriety, and do a podcast.
Yeah.
Look how it happened. You know what I'm saying? Look how that shit just came out like that. That should have been came out. I look at shit like why that came out now if he been was doing this. You know, that should have been happening.
It's his wives.
Season.
Yeah, his wives came out and said that was some shit that he liked them to
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't give Cat too much credit, man. Nah, cause niggas be like down low and it's it be the hardest niggas out here. You like this nigga's a freak.
But that's a front.
You know what I'm saying? So I think he did it.
I know he did it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know
you using different angles.
Yeah.
You know, what is you doing? Like, you know you.
Because he was way too calm.
Yeah.
If somebody accused me of doing, not saying you gotta go on a rampage, I'll be like, yo, man, y'all know that shit would never happen. That ain't no shit I ever do.
And
like,
also,
y'all crazy.
You read somebody's body language, you can tell, oh, this nigga guilty.
Yeah, he's too calm. You too relaxed. You know. What the dude? What the cat said in Belly? He said, yo, you awfully calm for a nigga on the run like me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I feel a lot of heat coming off of that seat over there. You know what I'm saying?
That dude's a damn demon, man.
Yeah, man.
A demon with a hat on.
Right.
You know?
You can see it in his eyes. He gone. Like you look in his eyes, you can tell he's gone. He's gone.
Spirit left.
Then he was bribing brothers, man.
Yeah.
You know, taking brothers' money.
Yeah. What was that? The whole thing with the I think who was having the conversation? They were saying he was making $70,000 a year, and then the cat cracked him. He said, "Nah, a month."
Yeah, he was bragging that he made say we 200K in a week.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All those t-shirts and shit, that merchandise he was selling, them hoodies and shit, tassels, things called ZZ.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5:22.
That's crazy. I'm going to go to that next. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. That's the scripture. I had that on that.
1 Thessalonians 5:22. Abstain from all appearance of evil. That's why we don't see us smoking weed. You know, that shit has the appearance of evil because niggas do it. Niggas have glorified it. Or doing any type of drugs. Or out there drinking in public. You know, making rap videos. You know, our merchandising, the ministry, we don't have a bucket, you know, put $1 in there or cash line on the live videos.
Yeah.
You know, because we're abstaining from all that appears evil, man.
Yeah.
You know, we're not out here prophesying with our heads covered, ordering pagan kits. You're not going to find brothers doing that weird shit. You know, caught up in these different scandals, man.
Right.
You know, it's because they're not walking in the spirit. You know, so when the enemy coming like a flood, they're going to get slaughtered. And all those people that follow them, they're going to get them slaughtered because they're Judas goats.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because anybody that is sincerely coming from where you come from know I'm struggling like you struggling. So why I'm going to put a heavy burden to where it's like, okay now, you know what I'm saying? We got to get this money for this building fund. And then the fucking building never get built on. You just pocketing the money at the end of the, you know what I'm saying? Church service. Remember the one somebody sent it? You sent it. Where the pastor deacon was arguing over the pot. And they turned straight niggas. Yo, you gonna give me my motherfucking money? Yo, Yo, that was crazy, bro.
I was like, yeah, Jesus went out the window.
Uh-huh.
I said, not only Jesus went out the window.
You know what I'm saying? You know? Dang. Yeah, you just go to show you, man, you know? It's more than meets the eye, man. You know? Shit, you know? It's layers.
You want me to get
Yeah, you just can say.
Yeah. In verse 5, for Israel hath not been forsaken, and nor Judah of his Yahweh, of the Lord of hosts.
Right, we're not forsaken. The proof of that is the elect. You know, and the scripture says that the elect shall praise his holy name, not Jesus Christ. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Not Yehoshua, not Yeshua.
Nah, Earth Pig.
You know, not Earth Pig. You know, because when you think about Jesus, you're going to think about the white man. Damn demons.
That's crazy. Car's light just turned green.
That's what the demons, man.
Yeah.
They get activated by the word.
Yeah. The wicked flee when no man pursueth. Huh?
Filled with all right. The Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul.
Now, we're not telling you that you got to leave America, but you do got to leave the mindset of being an American.
Right.
Okay, because you being an American it's just you chasing the bag. You know, it's you doing you been in the spirit of doing what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
See, that's that Old Testament Israelites, Yahya.
Yeah.
They use that scripture as the flee doctrine. Think you got to flee out here physically, so they don't believe in the chariots of UFOs that come that's going to beam us up.
Because
I met some of them. They said they don't believe in that.
Yeah.
So that's no faith. Because they don't gather elect from the four winds. That's so you leaving here. Imagine you leaving here, get something to work.
Right.
Like church, you don't got no snacks, never.
Right.
So now you're in an even worse hell.
But ultimately, that's the Lord blinding them. You know what I'm saying? You know, having them still believing a lot of the One West doctrines, and you know what I'm saying? What's the one you said? What's the name came from? There was one before that. Some can't tell me.
Commandment keepers.
The commandment keepers.
That's like not really the One West, because the One West is a little bit more advanced than them other Israelites, them Yah.
Yeah, but you know, it was still like things that were corrected from that. But
Yahweh
there's people that still believe in it.
Yahweh taught that too.
Yeah.
Because I believe he took, I think it was like in the 60s or the 70s, he took a group of Jake Sear to the land.
Des Moines.
Yeah, now they're just over there, but they put them by the
Nuclear.
They gotta
waste.
They gotta be in the military.
Yeah.
They're treated like shit over there.
But then recently, they just was pushing for them to get not deported. But what's the other word? He was pushing for them to get to leave the land recently. Remember a couple years ago they was facing deportation. Yeah. You know.
This is Micah 4 and verse 8. No, I'm sorry, Micah 4 and 10. Micah 4 and 10. Be in pain to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field. That happens. We got kicked out of that. 70 AD. It happened a couple of times to us when the Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar came. The Edomites helped them take us down. Then the Edomites came as the Romans, burnt our temple. They took a lot of people back to Rome as slaves, man, on ships. A lot of our people fled into Africa, so we left the city. Now, now the field is what? The earth or America, It says, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. So the modern day Babylon is talking about is America, and we got here on slave ships. So that links up with the curses, Deuteronomy. Thou shalt go into Egypt again with ships. There, it says, there thou shalt be delivered. So this is where the great deliverance is going to happen. There the Lord shall redeem thee the hand of thine enemies. So this is where we're going to be delivered from the hand of our enemies, Esau. So it's saying, so if you have faith in that, you don't have to take a flight to Egypt to escape the coming destruction, because the Lord promised us that we're going to be delivered from here. So we're not telling you, you need to leave, but we are letting you know what's getting ready to happen. And be wise if you could get a little extra too, if you can. If not, don't stress out about it. Because you might not be in a position where you could do nothing financially. But I don't mean that the Lord's not with you.
That's lacking faith.
That's what I said, because that's what the Lord probably doing. He probably doing that to build up your faith and show His power and His glory. While you not having no resources, keeping you from it. So when shit happens, boom, blessings coming. Build your faith for more to go through. Sometimes I be thinking like that when I be hearing people like, but then more, the problem is a certain knowledge of certain things, so you can show.
Because I'll be thinking like, damn, man, I got to start fires. I gotta learn how to do this, that. Because you don't learn shit in America. We wasn't taught nothing, man.
Well, I always look at it like this, man. Your ass get cold enough, you're going to get real creative. You know what I'm saying? You're going to learn how to start a fire in that day, Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Your ass don't know how to hunt a fish. I bet your ass going to learn that day. You're going to learn, Trey.
How they say, trial and error. Exactly. You might mess up the first few times. If you get it right, the more hungry you get,
exactly.
Right. We don't know how to hunt, how to skin an animal. You know what I'm saying? What parts to take out, this and that.
Right.
This is crazy.
So the Lord going to use miracles. You know what I'm saying? I like to always use this. I think it's going to happen for me. This is just me. This is my. That I always use this all the time. When that famine comes. When the MOTB hits and you can't buy, sell, whatever, and I ain't got no food in my house, my refrigerator, nothing. Naked,
dry as hell.
Naked as a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And lights, don't got no lights, no nothing. I'm in the house by myself. Like, damn, you know how you go to sleep? You know how you go to sleep? Then you have to wake up in the middle of the night and go use the bathroom. The kitchen light is on. Like, damn, I know. RGB cut off, all my kitchen light is on. You have to just walk in there, something just tell you look in the refrigerator, you just open
miraculously is in there.
Food in there. Call all y'all watch it. Like, I'm eating good tonight. Nigga, put the stove on, cook, you know what I'm saying? Wow. I'm like, yo, I know when I went to bed, I know I ain't had no food to eat, you know what I'm saying?
But that's testimonies that's biblical, and it happened to brothers like last minute, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like in your case, I ain't gonna put it, you know what I'm saying? But the last minute, a miracle happened. There's always, you can think back in your life that it's like, damn, I really was like fucked up, but somehow the Lord made a way. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
it's always, it'll be
in the nick of time.
It'll be exactly
on His time.
But that's righteous shall scarcely be saved.
Because even that, I went to I had no money. I was broke. This is not that long. This is recent. Man, I was just checking through my pockets for I was looking for something else, like my keys. Man, I pulled out $30.
See that?
And I know in that pants pocket, I ain't had no money because I checked it before. I ain't had no money in that pocket.
Right.
I would check that same, trying to find my keys, put out $30. I said,
Right. That happened to me before.
I'm like, yo,
That happened
Yeah.
before too. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, I went to go look for something else. I found it. I'm like, well, okay.
Money in
Oh,
here.
oh,
I usually
Lord.
don't leave money. Like, I usually organize, I keep my shit in my wallet. But for some reason, you could have been rushing that day, just threw it in there, trying to, you know what I mean? So, but that goes into with the angel. Didn't the angel bring, in prison? Didn't he bring somebody some food? What angel?
Rebecca, well, Daniel.
And the bird.
I think Elijah too.
Yep, Elijah's a raven.
Yep.
Those are very smart creatures, man. They know how to remember faces. The Most High created them. So when I actually look at the intelligence of a raven, it makes sense how he was able to keep bringing it to Elijah, because he knew, like, okay, this is Elijah.
This is the target.
This is the one the Lord want me to feed.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, a lot of animals is very more highly intelligent than people think.
Even them tigers. I've heard them tigers no joke, man.
Right.
You can do something to a tiger, say he don't, like say you did something to his cubs or you did something to him. He got a good memory.
Elephant.
He'll follow you home, find out where you at, live at, track your home down, track your scent, where you live at, and he'll know that you ain't home. He'll wait for you when you get home and jump at you.
Yeah.
Before you get to the house.
Yeah. I forgot the name of the movie, but Val Kilmer played in it. And he was hired to kill his tiger over in India. It was like an old 80s movie. But the tiger was real elusive and smart. He was he kill 1 or 2 people. Like, yeah, man. They're creatures. Right. They're predators.
I mean, they'll actually, like, they'll get you sent, and then you stay, on Avenue D, and they'll find out where you live at and wait for you when you come home.
Yeah,
that's like some human shit like that. That's like a goon, like
now they
that's
predators.
How tigers be on that. I'm like, they said it was that situation happened to a hunter. He killed one of his, I think his cubs or his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
That tiger got his scent and fought, tracked him where he lived at and wait for him. He got him, jumped out on him and killed him.
Lord, that's the spirit of vengeance.
Yeah.
Most High, I'm gonna get that nigga.
Right.
I'll get you back, Holmes.
Got time today.
This is Micah 4:10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, because this whole thing is likened unto a woman that birth pains, man.
Right.
And we see the earthquakes, the wars, rumors of wars right now in the Holy Land. They got fires and shit everywhere. Shit is happening, man. O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered. So this is that. We're gonna be delivered from here, man. Okay. So we don't have to go to where they went to Kenya. They got chased out and shit. They got banned from France. You don't gotta go over there, man. The great deliverance, it needs to happen here.
Right.
The Lord said it was going to happen here.
Right.
Here is shit. The Jakes over there in Nigeria, they're better off because they have a cleaner diet. They have some. That's why those Jakes look better. They're better mannered. The black woman over there is of a way higher caliber than the woman over here.
Yeah, Bishop, they'll need you bringing your American infected the people.
There thou shalt be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thy enemies.
And flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity.
So part of our iniquity is the nuclear destruction, the economic collapse, societal breakdown. That's part of the iniquity, man. We could already see this is gonna be bad. Because you look at, it says the love of many shall wax cold. People already treat each other, shitty. There's already a dog-eat-dog world, as they say. So how much more when there's nothing to eat? Right now, shit, you can DoorDash some food to your front door.
For this time this is the time of the Lord vengeance.
This is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and that's going to come in the form of wild beasts, like we was talking about. That's going to come in the form of the death of children, wives, starvation, so-called racial skirmishes.
Right.
You know,
He will render unto her recompense. Verse 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken on her wine. Thereof the nations are mad.
yeah, the nations that have followed after America, like China right now, they're mad. Mexico, Canada, because they have committed fornication with the whore, right?
They got burned.
Yep, dealing with the dollar. Now they're mad.
Right.
You know, they're pissed off. So you can see why these nations going to invade and send nukes. You know,
Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 8.
you can expect so-called tear attacks. The year started off with tear attacks.
Yep.
You know,
Babylon is suddenly fallen
that's
and
sudden.
destroyed.
That means suddenly. It means quickly and unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen quick when you least expect it. You know,
However, bone or pain. So be she may be healed.
that's how these people going to be. They're crying and shit. You know, there ain't nothing you can do.
Right.
You know, you thought Trump is going to bring, that's what he said. You know, I'm going to bring the prices down. I'm going to stop the war in Ukraine.
Right.
It's almost 100 days of what? 100 days of hell.
Right. Well, I stumbled onto this conversation. I had stopped at the gas station, and they were talking about the tariffs and shit. So I kind of chimed in, and you know, I was just playing the advocate. And the Edomite gonna talk about, well, you know, everybody's upset about, you know, the tariffs and stuff, but the way things are now, you know, it's fucked up. So if the tariffs don't work out, they just don't work out. But we gotta try something. You know what I'm saying? But that's not a very wise plan. To where you just let's just see, you know, let's give it a whirl. Let's just spin the wheel and see what happens.
Throwing shit at the wall with a stick.
Exactly.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, so you people become desperate, that you just willing to just risk it all, risk everything to try to just fix a problem that can't be fixed. You know what I mean? This place is destined to go down. You know what I mean? And you're gonna go down with it, Captain.
Well, you had your time. You had your time to you trying to, you know, it's like a comedian, you know, they have a certain time to perform.
They act.
Then
Yeah.
somebody else get to come on stage. You had your time on stage. You trying to hog the whole fucking show.
Yeah.
All you nations, you had a time to rule.
Yeah.
You know, we had the Babylonians, the Media Persians, the Greeks, the Romans,
Yeah.
and now you ruling again as the Romans.
They can't complain, man. They've been ruling for a minute, man. Lord,
Right.
that's the Lord. See, the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, being fair. You know what I'm saying? He's fair. He let y'all rule for some time. You know what I'm saying? He let y'all it's up.
Let you stretch out. You know, you put your enemies, you pat us under your damn stuff.
I was just dwelling on this the other day. You know how Esau has a to a hatred towards Jacob? How is it that you upset at any person of color, especially, you know, Judah, that went through one of the most horrific slaveries in history, but you so selfish to where how they say, well, if how's it that if, you know, black people can get reparations, but there's poor whites.
Well, Esau promised. Didn't he promise us 40 acres?
40 acres in the
that we
middle.
never got.
That goes into that perpetual hatred. Jake, stop waiting on that, because you're gonna wait till you blue in the face. Esau hates you that much. That's the point I want to get across. Their own people is doing bad. So you think they gonna give you a handout to be up over them?
It been like that. You had like Tulsa, Oklahoma. You had tons of communities where Harlem,
Right.
you know, Harlem Nights where what's his name? Damn, what's his name, the comedian. all the
Richard
comedians,
Pryor,
Those
Red
Jakes,
Fox.
Those Jakes were doing good for themselves. What
Right.
the cop said, he said, when I see you niggas, you know, living good, and I gotta go back to this fucking shithole apartment. He was mad because Jake was prospering, man.
Yeah.
Jake, it come to a point where Jake started to prosper.
Yeah.
When he saw it come with that hatred, man.
Yeah.
Bomb the community, Rosewood.
Right.
Bitch said the man raped her and became slaughtered the whole time.
Yeah. And that goes into that saying, brothers always say, our heaven is the white man's hell. So when we get into a state of rulership, that means what? The white man gonna come down into servitude. So he ain't gonna have that. He can't have that. Somebody got to do the dirty job.
Somebody got to be the servant.
Exactly.
Because if you have a society, that society, you need slaves.
Right.
You know?
But my point is, you would think that after all this did to people, you right your wrongs. No, that's he's a right judge. You know what I'm saying? So
that would help and hurt this place too.
Yeah.
Because it would at least, okay, I gave you something.
Right.
But he's not even going to do that. I mean, it could never cover for all the damage he's done.
Exactly.
When you go back to the beginning, Cain.
Yeah.
When you go back to what he did as the Greeks. When you go back in history, it could never cover for what he's done, but it's a start.
But you would think though, like in anybody with a rational, but you gotta know who you talking about, a base man. You know what I'm saying? But that's like you did, like you got all this wealth now. You would be like, damn, you know, yeah, let me. But I'm just saying that's how much they hate you. You can't even like swear a person away that you did something wrong to.
He won't even apologize. He'll tell you get over it.
Exactly.
So that's why he that leading in the captivity must go in it. That's the only way you can pay us back.
Thank you.
So keep your reparations. Man.
Exactly. That's a beautiful scripture.
It's a crumbling economy anyway.
That's the fulfillment of that scripture.
And if you gave niggas money, it shows you on Chappelle show. Nigga had a whole truck full of Newports.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You give niggas money, he'll destroy themselves.
They'll destroy them. It says riches is not comely for a nigga.
Right.
You know, look at what's the story. He's ordering pegging kits. He only got a lot of. He got what, 100,000.
That's crazy.
You got Hellcats rap videos. You can't give niggas money, man.
Yeah.
You give niggas that much money, niggas gonna try to be like Papa Escobar. He gonna buy all types of drugs and stuff.
Right.
And he's gonna be trying to take over the blocks.
Right.
You know, buy all types of guns. You out here wilding.
Yeah.
Now you do have some intelligent jakes. They're into real estate. They're into they're
Business
smart.
ventures.
So they would do smart things with it, but that's a very small number of our people. You just the average much of these niggas that should be going in a year. Just like a lead check. I remember people who had lead checks.
Yeah, my buddy
They
had
had
one.
some money. They like, damn,
80 grand.
that shit
Out
gone
the
in,
blue.
like, it gone in the summer. I'm like,
This
niggas
nigga
stupid.
buying cocaine and shit. Oh. You know what I'm saying?
Live in the hood.
Yeah. You know what I'm
So you
saying?
get robbed.
Yeah, they got the Bentley outside the project.
Like, nigga, get some land, move.
Exactly. Get the house first.
Yo, you shaking a fucking steak around a pack of wolves, man. People
Crazy.
wonder why they get robbed.
Yeah. The bling bling pastor.
This is Revelation 13 and 9. The only way he can repay us, man.
Right.
Revelation 13 verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Right, so if the Lord open up your mind to understand the prophecies, you need to take heed.
Yeah.
No. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So we have patience and wait on the Lord's suffer. We can barely get by, but that's part of us being patient.
Right.
But we have faith that we're gonna get back 100-fold, just like the Lord told Peter and the disciples. You know?
Right.
So if he lost wives, shit, that's shit, like 2,000 wives. You know, children. Now you get more children. And Job lost children.
Right.
You know, the Lord gave him back double what he had. You know?
Well, if you even just go and delve into those two verbs there, shall and must, that means that it's going to happen. you shall, you must. Like, there's no way around that.
And truthfully, Esau, he has the history too. He's like, damn, these niggas, they started to become Caesars in ancient Rome. We can't let them be. We can't let them run for president. We got to put crack in their hood.
Right.
It's the reason the warfare is so heavy on us.
Right.
We got to make them effeminate. Because they'll take over. Nope.
Yeah.
Back in Jeremiah.
That was it. That was it. You want some more?
Yeah, but it's your how you know how Drake said God's plan. You know what I'm saying? This is
Verse 9.
Hold up.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed.
There's no way you can heal it. There's no way you can stop the judgment of Yahweh Shem Shai. That's why there's mass layoffs, people losing their jobs, people losing their homes, people losing their minds. You have people that are working 50 hours a week, but they gotta live out of a car. That's misery, man.
That's right.
You working every fucking day, you don't have a home. You gotta live out your vehicle, cramped up and shit. You can't really you don't have much storage.
In the so-called richest nation in the fucking world, right?
You don't have a bathroom. Like, damn, this is.
And then it's illegal to do it.
I remember like last year I seen this old Edomite dude. And he looked like he had a business or something like. He was clean. He was like one of those homeless Edomites. Every begging for me. I could tell like like one of them got like used to have a business or work at a corporate job.
Yeah.
And live out in the suburbs.
Right.
Out here begging.
Yeah, well, he probably one of those con artists. He probably gonna pull off in the Benz and shit when he peel around the corner.
But they showed it on that what movie? Don't Be a Menace. That nigga pulled out a beeper, a cell phone,
Crazy.
and hopped in a nice car.
Yeah. Right. But the point is that just show you like Spencer's falling, man.
Yeah.
He looked like
You would never expect.
yeah, he didn't look like he belonged out here.
But that's the curses. Now the curses are on them. Now their people are being drug addicts.
Yeah.
You think you moving to the burbs? Shit, you guys
Ghetto out
they're
there.
more niggerish too.
Right.
Like a lot of these small Edomite towns, shit, they're real niggerish. They're worse than Rochester, man.
Right. Shit, them trailer parks, man. I'll be delivering up in there, man. That shit wild. It look like shanty houses, man. Yeah, shit falling off the siding, the roof and shit. Tarps and shit on.
Which some of them could be issues, but a lot of them are just Edomites. Now
Two-time losers.
Now you dealing with the curses now,
Right.
Nigga.
Yep.
Because they point their nose up at us, but we're under curses. You don't have no excuse.
Right.
And this is your world.
And that's all you see out there is those Trump 20 Take America Back flags and banners. I gotta take a picture of this one house, man. He got a big ass banner. He got like flags. They're like it's like a big ass Hollywood fucking stage on his house or her. I don't know, but it's like I'm gonna take a picture
I remember
of it.
when I was doing the deliveries out there. You see one house for Trump and the other house for Biden. I'm like, these niggas are divided.
Right.
They'll be right next door to each other too.
Right.
That's
right.
Egyptian against Egyptian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Try a little more, man.
We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, every one into his own country.
Y'all was watching the news last night about how these people from India, for the last 2 years, they've been going back.
Yeah.
A lot of people that were once over here, they're leaving now, man.
Yeah.
They're going back to their own land.
They figured it out. They can do better over there than here. They get their little coins. Because when you take American money and you exchange it in them other countries, they could be millionaires in no time. You know what I'm saying? I had a chick that I used to deal with back in the day, a few years back. She was from Trinidad, and she was trying to get me to move over there. She was like, yo, all we need is like $80,000, $100,000, And we could go over there and live like kings and queens. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So
That's very
you know,
true. You know, you come here, you save a little, send it all back. You go back, you have a way better life because the air is, you can taste the air. The air is better. The food, it's not all
tree.
Pam said it on next Friday. You got nicer. Smell.
You don't gotta deal with the shit out here, man. This is the place is hell, man. You know, stress your ass out. You put you in 100th grade. This is our back. And Ecclesiastes 12:3, it says, in a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. So now they're in a state of trembling. You know, because what the terrorists did was nothing but a self-inflicted wound on the economy. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because there is few. And obviously, if you're grinding, you're working. Like we all know that clip song grind, and this is working. Which they was talking about working the block. But that's still a form of you working.
Well, 9 to 5, they say I'm on my grinding. You know what I'm saying? That's even circled over into like blue collar corporate America.
Yep. So if you're grinding, you're working. What the Lord said that too. There shall be two grounding at the mill. One shall be left, one shall be taken. So that's a form of you working, you know. But now that's ceasing. Get out this information. This is 2025. There have been widespread mass layoffs across various sectors, including tech, media, finance, and government. DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Really, they're getting rid of those jobs and replacing those humans with AI, robots.
Pretty much.
You know, these layoffs are attributed to factors such as cost-cutting measures, economic pressures, and the rise of AI. It says the USPS announced plans to cut 10,000 jobs through a voluntary early retirement. Says truck drivers are quitting due to various reasons: low pay, stressful conditions, and long hours. And now, because the ports are dry, there's no work. So hey, it's ceasing. You know, it's you know, we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed.
And also, they're hiring you part time instead of full time because they can jip you out the benefits, the healthcare.
So now you got to get like 3 part-time jobs, man.
Yeah.
Just don't have benefits.
Yeah.
And I say you do got benefits. The insurance ain't no joke. You got to pay deductibles and shit.
Yeah.
You know, I pay all this money for insurance each week, but it's for nothing.
Right.
You know, what's that movie with Denzel, where the son needed the heart surgery? I forget the name of it.
Ooh.
John Q.
John Q.
Yeah.
That shows you that he worked at the plant X amount of years. Like, damn, I've been putting all my money. And
It's
now,
funny you said that. That goes into that Luigi dude, the one that assassinated that CEO
Yep.
of the healthcare.
Yep.
That was a real life John Q.
Yep.
Because he was dealing with some type of back injury, back pain, and I don't know if they tried to help him or they denied him, but it didn't work. Either way it went, it didn't go the way he thought it was, and he took his anger out. You know what I'm saying?
That's because everything here is a scam.
It's a joke.
You know? It says, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, which is showing you what? That people are starting to see that there's no future here. That's why people are leaving.
Right.
You know, but then you might go somewhere else and you like, I should have stayed.
Right. I think he was an Elamite. He told me that years ago when I used to do like the DoorDash, but I met him at another restaurant, and then he was working over here at Gourmet Hots. And he was like, yo, man, I made a big mistake. He said I was living in Australia or New Zealand, one of them. And he said, fucking came over here, man, and now look at me.
Yep.
Like, this place is fucked up. He said I should have stayed in fucking Australia.
Yep. Be like that.
Gotcha, bitch.
Can your ass hopped right in the oven.
Right.
I said that they shall burn like an oven. You in the oven, man.
Yeah.
Verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the street. It's gonna funnel people to like only one market. Then when you go there, it's gonna be armed guard for shit.
Right.
You know, all is shutting down. Babylon is closing. It's fall. Look at this shit. It wasn't like this a couple months ago.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It says, just a quick Google. It says in 2025, numerous banks are closing branches across the U.S., driven by a shift towards digital banking and online services. I had to go to the ATM the other day. The shit took like 5 minutes to spit the cash out. I'm like, what the hell? So that shows you that's going to be bank going to shut down. ATM going to start having malfunctions.
That's already happened last week. That's lady was saying she was trying to get her money. I was a school's assistant, you know. Yeah. Elder Jake, you know what I'm saying? She was like, yeah, man. Like people, whatever city she was from, she said people couldn't get their money out of their account. Yep. So coming on valid. You know what I'm saying?
Says major financial institutions like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Chase, and Flagstar are all planning to close branches, with some proposing over 300 closures in the first 3 months alone. There you go. Doors shall be shut in the streets.
Yep.
And that's going to cause people to protest. You know? Ecclesiastes 12:4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. Because right now, you know, set your alarm clock, whatever you do to set yourself up to go to work.
Right.
But it's going to come a time to where there's not going to be a reason to set your alarm.
Right.
You're not going to get much sleep in the days to come. You're not going to want to sleep because you know, somebody could sneak up on you. You know?
They said the hospital was closing down.
The hospitals are closing down. You know?
Hospital
Hospitals.
shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, getting on the typical white boy shit.
Yeah.
And so I chimed in. I was like, yeah, man. I said that game was deemed heavily demonic and stuff. And you know, the conversation went into talking about like the difference between like magic and witchcraft.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, the game. I said, well, the true essence of magic, you know what I'm saying, is like witchcraft. But I said, I'm not talking about the David Blaine witchcraft with the illusions and mirrors. I said, no. I said, there's a dark art, which is witchcraft, and then there's this little bullshit magic tricks with cards. But I was like, the game was demonic, and the young Edomites was trying to like disagree. I said, bro, I was a kid when the game came out. I said, I remember the shit was on the news. Okay, y'all knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, somebody put this in my damn vehicle. So this is talking about Dungeons and Dragons. And you know, y'all can pause it to read it. But this is going into talking about the damn game, Dungeons and Dragons. That was in my vehicle, like over the top of the head. I didn't know it was there until I happened to look up one day. Mind you, the conversation happened about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
I just found this like a couple days ago.
Wow.
And this is not like something you just print. This is like a hard flyer. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just be mindful of conversations you get into, because I don't know what this meant. Maybe it was proving me that I was right, because it basically says it was going into demonic shit if you read it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking to, especially on that level.
Yeah.
They might seem, you know, but they, you never know.
You never know who you talk or who listening. You know what I mean?
This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So that whole birth, you know, you gotta imagine they had to been tussling in the womb to see who will come out first. You know, Esau, he got the advantage to be born first. But him coming out first is actually, you know, curse. You know, then when it came out, one hole in the hill of there had to be some crazy shit to see. Like, yo,
No, you don't. You don't.
the baby holding, I could see that, man. The baby holding this hill. You're like, damn, what that mean?
Right.
So people were spiritual back then.
Right,
You know, so like this gotta be a sign.
Right.
You know?
Omen omens.
And it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. So Jacob came out holding this hill, symbolic of how the nation of Israel is going to take down Esau. But it's through Yahushua, because Yahushua is the line of the tribe of Judah. You know? Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed.
Right.
You know, so hey, you know, stay strong. You know, we're at the end. This man's end is good news for us.
Yeah.
Because for them, we're going to new bodies, a new world, a new kingdom.
Right.
No more crying, no more sorrow.
Right.
You know,
1,000 wives.
whatever you want. You're a new planet.
You know what I mean?
You know, you don't actually live life here. We're not living, man. You have what? 1, maybe 2 days off.
Right.
Then on your days off, you still got to do
You
shit.
gotta do shit. Still working.
You got the days off. You already thinking about going back to work. Well, that's a man. I'm on my vacation. I'll be back after these 2 weeks is up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Already, you're like, that's not
That shit
it.
fly.
You know? That
2
shit
weeks ain't
quick.
shit.
You know, but stay strong, man. Keep praying. We're going to close it. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash.
Shalom to those.
Shalom.
Shalom.